In this video, I'm going to show you how to make ads like this and this that work super well at converting people on Instagram, Facebook, and Messenger stories to actually going and listening to your music on Spotify and Apple Music. Now, there are essentially two different ways that you can set this up. One is you just use an existing music video that you already shot for your song anyways, and then two, if you don't really have anything, you can use some artwork to make some kind of spicy moving image that people might be more likely to be attracted to and actually click on. Under no circumstances are you going to use a visualizer or a still artwork. So agree on that, please. So I'm going to switch to my screen here, and you can see I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. Everything's going to apply for whatever video editing software you're using, whether it's iMovie or DaVinci Resolve. It's just the settings are going to be a little bit different where you click stuff and whatever. But this type of video you can make in any video editing platform because it's super easy to make. Now, first of all, at least in Premiere Pro, what I do is I make a new project and I get my clips in here, and you can go to the Spotify branding guidelines to download their current branding assets. It's entirely free, and they tell you exactly how to use them so that you don't risk getting your ad taken down. Don't use wrong logos because that's against their terms of service. So what you do from here is you just right click on your main clip, and you're going to select new sequence from clip. And all this is going to do is just import the video in along with your audio. And this is an unfinished music video, so you don't really even need a finished product. You just need to extract a couple 15-second clips. Now, the next thing I do is, since we're going to be running this in story placements, is I go to sequence settings, and then instead of being 1920 by 1080, we're going to make that 1080 by 1920. And what this allows us to do is have this vertical format. So instead of having the normal video format like you're watching right now, it's going to be that vertical, phone format that displays on Instagram stories, Messenger, and Facebook stories. And at this point, it's super simple. Now, there's a couple styles you can go for, but one style that I've tend to found works best, at least looks best, is I grab the video. If you hold Option, I don't know what it is on Windows, and you drag down on the video clip, you get a second copy underneath. And then if we scale that up, we get a cool background that actually moves with the main clip. And you can see my cool music video. Now, this stuff is just style. What I like to do is go and type in Gaussian and add that to the underneath video. And what this is just a blur effect. Let me try to find a good... so this is in focus, and this is all blurry. And just kind of blur things to taste and give yourself a little teaser of what it's actually going to look like. So now I'm just going through and I'm going to find two different segments that I think kind of represent two different types of people that might click the ad. I'm going to pick a clip from the drop, and I'm going to try to pick one of the sections of the second verse because I just think the combination of visuals and the style of the sound kind of represent two different camps of people that might be interested. And the reason why I'm doing that is because when we run our ads, if you want to learn more about running ads, you can check out this video right here. We're going to set up a split test. Facebook's going to automatically figure out which ad performs best for which audience. So that's why we pick two. I also recommend doing more than two, but in this case, I'm just going to pick two. So now that we have the start time, we just go and make this exactly 15 seconds. Move this over. And now the next thing I do is on the audio clip, I hit Shift-Command-D, and that just adds some fades at the beginning and end, so it's not like a harsh cut when it starts and stops. And we essentially have a finished ad right here. Now what I do is I drag on the Spotify logo, and then I scale it down. You don't want to have your text be more than 20% of your ad, otherwise Facebook will penalize you for that. So make it big enough to see, but not too big. And then next you're going to add a text layer. So just click T, this little text icon pops up. And we're going to type in listen on. And the text format is up to your brand. I usually use this Bauhaus 93 font. Make sure to actually highlight it. And sometimes that looks good, sometimes it doesn't. I like it just because it's consistent with my brand. I haven't found that it makes a significant impact either way. And then just kind of line stuff up, just make it look pretty at this point. So next, I've kind of identified the second clip that I want to do. So I can just hold Option here and drag over these clips. And I think this is the start point. It's cold outside, and we And so now that we have this identified, you can click down here and select W, and that'll just trim everything to the right. And we snap that, select the audio, Command-Shift-D, and now we have our second post. So like I don't know how long I've been recording, a couple minutes, and we already have 2 pretty good-looking story ads based on a piece of content that we already made. All right, so you might be thinking, that's great, I don't have a music video or any other kind of visual content to go along with this, so what can I do? All I have is artwork. Well, I'm actually going to use this as 3rd and 4th ads that I run, and it's just kind of like a slightly animated album cover, and they can convert well. They don't convert as well in my experience as some kind of thing with you in it. Even just you holding up your phone, and if you're a rapper, just rapping in along to the song is going to perform pretty damn well. So keep that in mind, but this is going to be a super easy way. So first of all, I'm going to jump back to my screen. If I highlight these pieces of audio, I already know I want to use them. So I'm really testing 2 pieces of audio against 2 different types of visuals at the same time. And to make the video go away, I can just hit unlink, right click, unlink, and now I can actually just delete these video clips. And I have the artwork right here, so all I'm going to do is drag it on, extend it out, hold Option, and drag that over. And now I have some kind of basic clip of artwork. If I hold Option again, drag these up, I have that same kind of effect, and I can scale this down accordingly. And actually, I'll delete this one over here and just Option, drag that over. So now we have 2 identical ads here. We know we're going to have our listen on thing, so I'm going to drag that on there, highlight again, and drag that on there. And at this point, this is already a decent looking visual, but it's kind of boring. Like, it's just a still artwork. So I'm going to show you what I do to spice it up just a little bit. And there's ways to take this further, and I'll probably edit this more off screen, but this is kind of how you start that process. So the way I have this first clip of music is it comes in like the end of the bridge, and then it goes in to the drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it and then stop it right at the point where the drop hits. And that's roughly where that is. So now in this top clip, what I'm going to do is, well, first I'm going to get these listen on things, and I'm going to extend them so they start there. And then I'm going to get this top clip, which is this actual piece of artwork. And I'm going to set a keyframe up here. So in the scale keyframe, and I'll just select the position one just in case. Go back to the very first frame or so and add new keyframes. And now we go back to this original keyframe. Stick with me, it's not as complicated as it sounds. And just hit left on your keyboard a couple times to go back and add some keyframes there. And what we're going to do is when it starts, it's going to be this super big thing. Maybe I will actually utilize the position keyframes. It's over here, 150, so maybe I'll keep that as 150 or 140. But over here, I want it to be like this. And so now we have this kind of movement, and let's play that. Like, that looks so much better in an ad than just having a still artwork, and it took like 30 seconds to make, right? So at this point, there's a few things you can do, and this is going to kind of depend on what plugins you have, if any. You don't need any plugins. Basically, if you're not familiar, there's effects plugins in Premiere, just like there's effects plugins for making music. It works the same way. So we can go in video effects, and I have all these universe glow and trap code effects. Let's just pick something that is, I don't know, something that everyone has. So I'm going to try to use some of these distort things. Now, one thing to bring up here is that I don't like to apply it to the individual clips. So I'm going to move up these kind of text portions, and inside of the project over here, I'm going to click this little piece of paper for a new item. When I click that, I can add an adjustment layer. Just click OK, and then I drag this on top of the artwork. Now, what this allows me to do is anything below this adjustment layer will get the effects applied to it. So that way you can, instead of having to put plugins on 2 different things and control them, you can just put it on this adjustment layer. And this is kind of how I color grade my footage in YouTube. Instead of having to deal with all the little cut clips, you just do it this way. So I can go back to my effects, and I'll try this turbulent displace thing. And then there's this evolution matrix. So I'm going to turn the amount down to like, I don't know, let's try like 6. And let's make the size a little bit smaller. And now if I move this evolution knob, it's kind of just a very subtle warping effect. So I can go to the very beginning. Maybe I'll do it from the point the audio starts. I'll set an evolution keyframe, go to the end, set an evolution keyframe, and then I'll just modulate this from 0 to, I guess, 156, and let's just see what that looks like. Now, there's a million ways you can make this look better. One thing that I tend to use is I'll go into this a Red Giant Universe Styles, and I'll throw on something like Overlight. And this just adds kind of like a moving light effect, and I'll turn the opacity down, and we'll keep the brightness pretty low. Play around with the saturation, and then you can change the flicker amount. Maybe instead of screen, you'll do like multiply, then maybe bring the opacity back up. And then now if I play it, it's kind of like a subtle lighting effect on top of the artwork. And another thing I might do is go to the underneath one and add on that Gaussian blur so that it really blows out the background. And there's a million ways to spice this up. You can have it so the artwork's kind of consistently zooming in. You can have it constantly moving around the picture and telling a story. It's really up to you and your creativity, and the more creative and convincing you are, the better the ad's going to be and the more people are actually going to click your ad. Alright, so I hope you found that video super helpful. Feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments and I'll get back to you. And if you want to learn more about my music marketing content that I have in this channel, check out this playlist right here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.